Have you ever noticed how the clock always seems to catch your eye at exactly 11:11? Not once, not twice, but over and over again, until it feels like the universe itself is whispering something to you. Is it a coincidence? Or could it be a hidden message written into the very fabric of reality? Chosen soul, listen closely, because nothing about this is random. There are patterns woven into creation, codes embedded in time, and signs etched into the flow of our daily lives. 11:11 is one of those signs. It is more than just numbers. It is a mirror, a portal, a silent knock on the door of your consciousness. And every time you see it, the unseen world is reaching out asking, will you answer or will you ignore? Let me tell you a story. Long ago, there was a young wanderer who felt disconnected from everything around him. Every night he asked the heavens for a sign that he wasn't walking alone in this vast and uncertain world. For weeks, silence. For months, nothing. Then one day, as he stood beneath the blazing sun, he noticed 4 birds in the sky, 2 pairs flying side by side, forming a perfect mirror in motion. That night, he glanced at his candle and saw it flicker 4 times. Later, when he lay restless, he looked at the stars through his window, and the constellation aligned in a straight reflection, like twin pillars of light. He didn't yet know what it meant, but his heart told him this. The silence had been broken. The wanderer came to understand that the universe was speaking not with words, but with signs. Patterns repeating themselves until the soul awakens. Just as the birds mirrored one another, just as the stars aligned, just as the numbers 11:11 appear to you, these are not accidents, they are confirmations. So pause with me for a moment. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. For the next 15 seconds, let every sound fade, every thought soften, until all that remains is stillness. And in this silence, feel the weight of a question pressing gently on your heart. Why are you being shown this sign now? If you choose to dismiss it, if you turn away and call it random, you risk walking past one of the most sacred invitations of your life. But if you lean in, if you dare to listen, you will begin to see what others cannot. You will understand that 11:11 is not a number at all. It is a summons, a reminder that you are part of something vast, ancient, and divine. So I ask you, chosen soul, are you ready to awaken to what has been hidden in plain sight? If this message resonates, type 111 in the comments to confirm your alignment, 444 if you feel the presence of divine protection guiding you, and 777 if you're ready to step fully into your destiny. And above all, make sure you subscribe, because this is only the beginning. The first revelation behind 11:11 is that it is a mirror, a reflection of your inner world being shown back to you through the language of time. It is not just a number on a clock. It is a sign of alignment, a reminder that your soul and the universe are synchronizing in that very moment. Each time you see it, your awareness is being nudged awake. Think for a moment. Numbers appear everywhere. On receipts, screens, license plates, even in the timestamp of a photo. Out of the endless combinations, why this one? Why does 11:11 seem to follow you? Because it is not random. It is the echo of your spirit calling to you, whispering, you are on the path. Do not fall asleep now. Repetition has always carried sacred weight. The tides follow their rhythm. The moon cycles in patterns. Your heartbeat drums with perfect consistency. 11:11 belongs to this same rhythm. It is the universe breaking through the noise of daily life to remind you that you are not just moving through time. Time itself is speaking to you. Often, this sequence arrives during seasons of uncertainty. You may be carrying heartbreak, standing at a crossroads, or doubting your purpose. And just when you need reassurance, you glance at the clock. 1111. At first it feels like coincidence, but then it appears again, on a receipt, on a car's plate, in the exact timing of a message, until you realize this is not chance. It is confirmation. Stories abound. A woman wrestling with grief saw the numbers appear just as she whispered a desperate prayer for guidance. A man beginning a new career received his contract at exactly 11:11 a.m., as though destiny had signed its approval. A traveler captured a photograph abroad, only to later find the timestamp marked 11:11, as if the universe left its seal. Each story different, yet carrying the same heartbeat. This number pattern acts as a portal, a subtle knock on the door of your consciousness. The unseen is asking, will you pause? Will you listen? Look deeper into its symbolism. The number 1 represents unity, beginnings, and the spark of creation. When mirrored and repeated, 11:11, it amplifies the message. Remember your oneness. Remember the divine spark within you. But here lies the danger. To dismiss it as just numbers is to close the window through which light enters. Ignore the sign long enough and the call grows faint, until your soul drifts back into slumber. So the question is not whether 11:11 is real. It is what it means for you, here and now. Why has this sign appeared in your life at this particular season? What is the mirror trying to reveal? For this is the first revelation. 11:11 is not random. It is a mirror of your soul. And if it is a mirror, then what exactly is being reflected back at you? When the numbers appear, they do more than catch your eyes. They stir your spirit. Seeing 11:11 is not just about noticing digits on a clock. It is about the subtle vibration that follows. That strange pause in your chest. That sense that reality itself just leaned closer to whisper something. For some, the feeling is gentle comfort, as if the unseen is reassuring them. You are not alone. For others, it feels unsettling, like a heavy weight pressing down, reminding them that something must change. Most often, it is both at once, peace wrapped in urgency, as though you are standing at the edge of a door half open, light spilling through, yet shadows waiting behind. Dreams mirror this same phenomenon. A woman describes wandering through a barren desert until 4 beams of light rose before her like pillars, forming a gateway. Another recalls being in a crowded hall, everyone laughing, but she alone heard bells tolling 4 times at once. Waking with chills, she saw the time, 11:11, glowing in the dark. Such stories repeat themselves across cultures, ages, and languages. The sequence crosses the boundary of dreams into waking life, appearing in the exact moments the soul is most ready to notice. Even in daily routine, its timing feels too precise. A heartbroken man, wiping his tears, glances at his watch, 11:11. A mother burdened with fear receives a phone call that her child is safe, the time stamped the same. A traveler distracted by chaos sees it carved into graffiti on a forgotten wall, always arriving when the soul needs reassurance or redirection. But why does it carry such weight? Because these 4 ones are more than digits. They are a symbol. Symbols are ancient tools of destiny, and when they return again and again, they demand attention. This is why your emotions respond so strongly when you see them. The universe is not trying to entertain you. It is confronting you. It is asking, will you remain asleep or will you awaken? Awakening always carries tension. The familiar part of you wants to dismiss it, to say, it's just coincidence. But the deeper part of you knows better. You sense it in your chest, in the silence that follows. You know that paying attention means responsibility, and responsibility means change. Mystics once taught that time is like a river, always flowing, and signs are the stones that break its surface. When you see 11:11, it is one such stone, sending ripples through the waters of your awareness. It reminds you that beneath the hours and minutes lies eternity pressing in. And eternity does not leave the soul unchanged. There is a secret most overlook. These numbers are not bound to clocks. They appear in thought, in dreams, in symbols scattered throughout your path. They are tied not to minutes, but to awareness itself. And if they have followed you this far, chosen soul, then it is not random. So here is the real question. If 1111 is less about time and more about consciousness, then what awareness inside you is it urging to awaken? To grasp the hidden truth behind 1111, you must look beyond digits on a screen. It is not merely a clock striking symmetry, it is a doorway, a threshold between what is visible and what has always been unseen. Each time the sequence appears, it is as though reality opens for a heartbeat, giving you a glimpse into something far deeper than minutes and hours. At this threshold, two forces meet, light and shadow, awakening and sleep. Every moment of awareness has an opposite force trying to pull you back into forgetfulness. This is why the pattern can feel both comforting and haunting. It arrives wrapped in mystery, demanding you to choose. Will you step forward into awareness or retreat into the safety of denial? Picture yourself walking down a corridor lined with mirrors. At first, you see only your reflection, but with each step, the mirrors shift, revealing not just your present self, but fragments of your future, moments that haven't yet unfolded. This is what the repeated ones represent: reflection and revelation. They show you not only who you are, but also who you are becoming. This is why the sequence often shows up during transitions. When you are on the brink of ending a relationship, stepping into a new calling, or leaving behind a place that no longer serves your growth, it flashes before you, not as a trick of chance, but as a signpost. You are crossing over into a new season. Still, many turn away. They explain it as coincidence, convince themselves it is meaningless. But how long can coincidence follow you? How many times must it appear before denial becomes its own prison? Ignoring the sign is not neutral. It is refusing the very invitation of destiny. The deeper truth is this: 1111 is not only guidance, it is remembrance. A reminder of something ancient within you. Long before you were born, long before you took your first breath, your soul carried a seal. This repeating pattern is the echo of that seal being unlocked. That is why it feels sacred, why it stirs both awe and unease. In that moment, you are not just glancing at numbers, you are standing on holy ground, reminded that you are not ordinary. But there is a burden in knowing. For once you accept the sign, you cannot live as if life is random. You must step into the weight of your calling. You must embrace the truth that you are part of a story larger than yourself. So pause the next time the numbers align before your eyes. Ask yourself, what memory is being awakened in me? What responsibility is being placed on my shoulders? For if 1111 is the doorway, then what waits behind it is nothing less than the unveiling of your true destiny. There comes a point when the mystery of 1111 must move from symbolism into practice. Signs are not meant to remain only in the realm of wonder. They are meant to transform the way you live. Seeing the pattern is an awakening, but living in alignment with it is the true test. The first shift is awareness. When you notice the numbers, pause. Don't rush past it. Breathe. Acknowledge it. Even a silent whisper within, "I see you," is enough to open the channel wider. Awareness is the soil where meaning begins to grow. The second shift is intention. These numbers arrive as reminders to align your thoughts with your higher self. In that brief moment, ask, what am I thinking right now? Does it match the life I am trying to create? For the sequence often appears not randomly, but when your inner state needs correction. It is the universe holding up a mirror. Do you see what you are creating? The third shift is courage. Awareness without action is hollow. You may feel the sign pulling you toward forgiveness, toward leaving a toxic place, toward pursuing a long-buried dream. But fear whispers back, stay where you are. The repeated ones are the reminder that fear is not the ruler. You are being nudged to step forward, even if your knees shake. In daily life, this can feel small, but it is holy. Choosing patience when anger tempts you. Choosing silence when gossip surrounds you. Choosing to pick up the pen, the brush, the instrument, instead of letting your gifts rot in neglect. Every choice made in alignment is a thread woven into the larger pattern of your destiny. Prophets of old once spoke of signs that descend like lanterns in the night, guiding the traveler, but never walking for them. That is what 1111 is, a lantern. It cannot move your feet, but it can light the next step. Repetition is not weakness, it is power. That is why you keep seeing it, again and again. It is a drumbeat. Each time, the same message. Awaken, align, act over and over until the soul finally listens. But there is an emotional gap here. For with every reminder comes the grief of realizing how long you've lived asleep. You may think of opportunities wasted, of years lost to fear, of silence where you should have spoken. Yet even this grief is sacred, because it is proof that you are awakening now. The past cannot be reclaimed, but the future is being rewritten in the present moment. So the next time you see the alignment, don't let it pass as background noise. Let it burn into you. Let it demand that you shift your thoughts, your choices, your path. For if you treat it as holy, life itself begins to reshape. And yet the question lingers like a shadow. What happens if you ignore the lantern? What becomes of a soul that keeps seeing the signs but refuses to follow where they lead? All the threads come together here, the mirror, the emotion, the doorway, the lantern. Each time you've encountered 1111, it has not been an accident but part of a larger orchestration. The sign was never just about numbers. It was always about you, about your awakening, about your destiny. Think back to the times it appeared, the heartbreak, the turning points, the quiet moments of doubt. Every appearance was a marker on your path, as if the universe was saying, I am still here, keep moving, you are guided. It was never about chance, it was about alignment. You were being shown that you are woven into a story much greater than you imagined. But now comes the challenge. To know the sign is one thing. To live by it is another. When you acknowledge its presence, you accept a responsibility. To walk in greater awareness, to choose light over shadow, to honor the destiny you carry. The sequence was never meant to be a curiosity. It was meant to awaken courage. This is why it arrives so insistently. It does not stop with comfort. It demands transformation. It calls you to rise above the noise of the world, to break the cycles that have chained you, to step into the truth that you are marked for more. Just as 4-1s stand tall and unshaken, you too are being asked to stand in strength, rooted in your higher calling. The culmination of this journey is not the sign itself. It is what you become because of it. The repeating pattern is the doorway, but you are the one who must walk through. It is the knock, but you are the one who must answer. The universe will not force you awake. It will only keep whispering until you cannot ignore it. And so here is the destiny level challenge. The next time you see 1111, do not just smile and move on. Stop. Ask yourself, what is this moment asking of me? Maybe it is the courage to forgive. Maybe it is the strength to leave what no longer serves you. Maybe it is the boldness to step into the dream you've buried for years. Whatever it is, this is the moment. This is your confirmation. You were led here not by accident. Every sign was pointing to this awakening, to this exact breath, to this realization that you are chosen to carry light in a world that desperately needs it. So I call you now. If this resonates in your soul, type 111 in the comments as a seal of alignment, 444 if you feel the shield of protection over your journey, and 777 if you are ready to step boldly into your destiny. Subscribe, not just to this channel, but to your own awakening. Because remember, 1111 is not random. It is the language of the unseen, written just for you. And the question remains, will you ignore the whisper, or will you finally answer the call? Every awakening demands endurance. Once you begin to see the pattern, once you accept that 1111 is not random, life begins to test whether you are truly awake or merely curious. The numbers may appear to comfort you, but they also arrive to challenge you. They are a training ground for your faith, your awareness, your resolve. Think of it like a compass in a storm. A sailor may see the needle pointing north, but what use is it if he refuses to adjust his sails? In the same way, the repeating ones point you toward alignment, but you must choose to move in that direction. And this is where most falter. They see, they feel, but they refuse to act. There is a truth here. Every sign demands response. To notice is step 1, but to integrate it into your choices is step 2. And until you reach that step, the numbers will keep pressing into your awareness, like a teacher patiently repeating the same lesson until the student finally understands. But with each recognition comes resistance. Shadows whisper, "It's just coincidence. You're imagining things." Distractions pull you back into the noise of ordinary life. And yet, the alignment persists, shining through the fog like a star refusing to be swallowed. This is where endurance is born, to keep choosing awareness when sleep feels easier, to keep trusting the guidance when logic insists you ignore it, to keep moving forward when the path is unclear. This is why the sequence is not shown once, but again and again. It is repetition designed to shape your strength. So if you feel weary of seeing it, if you wonder why it keeps following you, understand this. You are being refined. You are being strengthened for the journey ahead. The numbers are not mocking you, they are molding you. The challenge is this: will you endure the process long enough to let the signs transform you? There is another layer, one hidden beneath the surface. 1111 is also a symbol of unity. 4 ones standing side by side, unbroken, equal, unwavering. They are a reminder that you are not separate from the whole. You are part of an unshakable oneness. In a world built on division, this is a radical message. We are taught to see ourselves as isolated, to measure our worth against others, to fight for scraps of belonging. But when the repeating ones appear, they are telling you something different. You are not alone. You were never alone. Think of how the number itself is structured. Each one stands tall and independent, yet together they form a greater pattern. So too with humanity. Each soul is unique, carrying its own spark, yet we are bound together in a pattern larger than any of us can see. 1111 is a reflection of that unity, your individual light contributing to the greater flame. This is why the sign often appears in times of isolation. When you feel abandoned, misunderstood, or forgotten, the numbers align to remind you, you are still connected. You are still part of the whole. They are a promise that the unseen has not forsaken you, even if the world has. But unity is not only comfort, it is also responsibility. To be part of the whole means your choices ripple outward. Every thought you nurture, every action you take, every word you speak weaves into the collective fabric. The alignment is reminding you, your light matters, your darkness matters too. Choose wisely. And so, 1111 is not just about your personal journey, it is about the healing of the whole. Each time you awaken, the world itself awakens a little more. The question is this: now that you know you are part of something larger, how will you choose to live? The final revelation is this: the sign is not an end, it is a beginning. Seeing 1111 is not the conclusion of your journey, but the opening of a new chapter. It is a summons, a trumpet sounding across your life, declaring that destiny is waiting. Think of the wanderer who has walked in circles for years, seeking meaning but finding none. One day he stumbles upon a door marked with the repeating ones. At first he marvels at the symbol, tracing it with his hand. But the door does not open because he looks. It opens only when he pushes. The same is true for you. The sign will never replace your choice. It will only remind you that choice must be made. This is why ignoring it carries such weight. To dismiss the sign is to stand before the door of destiny and walk away. To honor it is to step through into a life of alignment, purpose, and awakening. Here is the truth. 1111 is not here to decorate your days with wonder. It is here to reshape you. It is the call to leave behind the illusions of randomness and step into the clarity of divine order. It is the knock on the door of your soul, asking whether you will remain who you have been or become who you were always meant to be. And so, chosen one, here is your challenge. The next time you see it, don't only notice, respond. Make the decision you've been postponing. Take the step you've been fearing. Speak the truth you've been silencing. Let the alignment not only comfort you, but propel you. Because in the end, the sign is not about numbers at all. It is about awakening. It is about destiny. It is about you finally stepping into the fullness of who you are. And when you do, the world itself will shift. There is a reason the sequence follows you with such persistence. It is a conversation that refuses to end. Every glimpse is another word, another phrase, another reminder that you are not drifting through life aimlessly. The numbers are a dialogue between your soul and the unseen, calling you to live with awareness rather than accident. But there is something else here: timing. Have you noticed how often the pattern arrives at precise moments? Just before a decision, right after a prayer in your heart, in the instant when despair seems heavier than hope. These are not random appearances. They are confirmations stitched into time itself. Each alignment is the unseen saying, "I hear you. Keep moving." The true danger lies not in missing the signs, but in becoming numb to them. Familiarity dulls the sacred. When the sequence becomes just that thing you always see, its fire fades and the message weakens in your heart. But, chosen soul, do not let the holy become ordinary. Guard the wonder. Protect the mystery. Treat each encounter as a visitation, because that is exactly what it is. Think of it as a compass pointing you home. Every time the numbers align, the needle turns. But if you never follow where it points, you remain lost, staring at direction, but never moving toward destiny. The sign itself cannot carry you. It can only remind you of the path you already know in your bones. So ask yourself, how many more times will the whisper come before you finally answer it? How long will you keep staring at the sign, but refusing to step into the truth it is pointing toward? Because here is the sobering truth. The numbers will not follow you forever. Ignore them long enough, and the whisper grows faint. The silence will return, not because destiny abandoned you, but because you abandoned the call. And so the question remains, will you let this dialogue fade, or will you finally answer? Chosen soul, you now understand what so many dismiss. The alignment you keep seeing was never random. It was the universe pulling at the strings of your awareness, inviting you to awaken. Every time you looked at a clock and saw 1111, every time it appeared in a receipt, a dream, or a signpost, it was never about numbers. It was about remembrance. It was about calling you back to who you really are. The mirror showed you your soul. The doorway revealed your destiny. The lantern lit your path. And now, The choice stands before you. You were not created for ordinary drifting. You were marked long before you drew your first breath, sealed with a purpose only you can carry. That is why the signs find you. They are the echo of a promise made over your life before the world even knew your name. But hear this with the weight it deserves. If you ignore the call, if you continue to brush it aside as coincidence, you risk walking past the very invitation that could change everything. Signs do not come endlessly. Windows open and close. And destiny waits for no one. Yet if you choose to listen, if you choose to awaken, you will find that the same hand that wrote the numbers into your days has also written strength into your spirit, guidance into your path, and protection around your journey. What once felt like emptiness will be filled with meaning. What once felt like confusion will become clarity. What once felt like rejection will transform into redirection. So this is the final word. The sign has done its part. Now it is your turn. Will you awaken, or will you go back to sleep? If this message burns in your heart, type 111 in the comments to seal your alignment, 444 to declare you are shielded, and 777 to step boldly into your destiny. And above all, subscribe, not just to this channel, but to your own awakening. Because remember, 1111 was never random. It was always the whisper of destiny. And today, that whisper became a call. The only question left is, will you answer?